Good day to the organizers and participants of this event on the Convention of the Biological Diversity COP15. I am Susan Cataylo from the Philippines, promoting protection and conservation of the marine and coastal resources for sustainable fisheries in the municipality of Pilar is our top priority. Amidst the challenges we are facing nowadays, we are hoping that our stories to share with you will inspire all island communities all over the world. The key is changing behavior for the resiliency and sustainability of our island communities. Please allow me to share with you our story of hope and experiences of why we still survive despite the challenges we faced as islanders.
Pilar is an island municipality located on a very small island named Ponson. It is one of the islands comprising the Camotes group of islands, which is a part of the province of Cebu in the Central Visayas region of the Philippines. It is composed of 13 barangays, in which 12 are coastal, and has a total population of 12,506 individuals. The island's relatively small size and its geographical location made it and its community vulnerable to climate change and to natural disasters like typhoons, storm surges, long droughts, and heavy rainfall. When Typhoon Haiyan happened in 2013, Pilar was one of the severely devastated municipalities. For us, it was the strongest typhoon ever recorded on the island. Almost all houses were destroyed, and the livelihoods of farmers and fishers were seriously affected. In the aftermath, the island's economy suffered the most, as the economy is purely agriculture and marine ecosystems based. Between the agriculture and fishery sector, it was the latter that was able to recover faster. Based on our experience, it greatly contributed to the recovery of the local economy. The reason behind the resiliency of our fishery sector is the existence of healthy coastal and marine ecosystems, wherein the local government unit has invested more efforts to protect and conserve, as we looked at it as one of the best strategies to prevent and mitigate the impact of natural calamities and climate change as well. Our vast mangrove area has been protecting us from typhoons for many decades. Our efforts on coastal and marine protection and conservation includes, among others, the establishment of climate-smart marine protected areas, particularly the three major marine ecosystems, namely the mangrove, seagrass beds, and coral reefs, provided a big help to the island's community resiliency. Then the strict implementation of the fishery and related environmental laws supported the consistency of implementation of the protection and conservation initiatives. We conducted massive information, education, and communication campaigns using social marketing strategies to increase the level of community awareness on the importance of the network of marine protected areas and larval dispersal studies to gain people's support and eventually change their behaviors as far as the utilization of the coastal and marine resources are concerned. In a way, changing illegal fishers into star fishers. When we say star fishers, they are the registered fishers who fished at the right place with the use of the right gears. As we go along our initiatives for almost 2 decades now, normally we encountered a lot of challenges, but we also have a lot of wins and gains. We have sustained the 24/7 guarding and patrolling of our marine protected areas for 16 long years since its establishment in 2005. We have controlled the incidence of illegal fishing not only in the protected area but in the entire municipal waters. Although not 100%, but we have reduced it to the lowest level. And the most important gain to note is the fact that we have achieved our goals and objectives of increasing fish population, improving the health of coral cover and sea grasses, the coming back of indicator and target fish species, no more reported cases of mangrove cutting, and no more dumping of waste in the coastal zone. In our capacity as a small and poor municipality with limited technical and financial resources, we could not have achieved our goals and objectives without the help of our partner non-government organizations like Rare Philippines and their supporters like the International Climate Initiatives and Bloomberg and Blue Climate Initiative, and most of all, the involvement of people's organizations and people from the local community. Now, from managing marine protected areas, we are scaling up to manage a wider area, the entire municipal waters. We have already started working on the establishment of our turf, or managed access area plus sanctuary, and networking of our marine protected areas, not only within the municipality but throughout the entire Camotes Group of islands, replicating some of our best practices in the neighboring municipalities to ensure food security and livelihood. One of the important factors of success is also the local chief executive, the mayor, to lead these initiatives towards sustainability. The participation and involvement of the people from the local community is an essential factor to consider in protecting and conserving our diverse natural resources. We are also looking at our children and youth as the next in line stewards to continue and sustain the efforts that we have initiated. Integrating the Ridge to Reef approach in coastal and marine protection and conservation in the school curriculum is the best way to educate and train the children and youth to be responsible nature stewards. How to make this aspiration a reality is still a big question in the Philippines.